For years, men everywhere have carried a silent question inside them. A question that echoes in locker rooms, in mirrors, in the dark corners of their own thoughts. Am I big enough? It starts as curiosity, but it grows into comparison, into insecurity, into that quiet fear that maybe, just maybe, you're not enough. You look at yourself, you compare, you measure, and without realizing it, you hand your confidence to an illusion sold by other men who are just as lost. They told you that your worth could be measured. That power was a number. That desire was math. And the more you believed it, the smaller you began to feel. Not because you were lacking, but because your focus had been stolen. You see, every time you compare yourself to someone else, you forget what actually makes a woman fall for you. It's not shape, it's not size, it's not even skill. It's how your energy makes her feel. When you walk into a room, she doesn't measure you, she feels you. She feels whether your energy is calm or chaotic, whether you're grounded or desperate, whether you're a man who needs approval or a man who already knows his value. That's what pulls her in. That's what makes her soften. That's what makes her feel safe enough to be herself. Because what truly attracts her, what makes her body respond without her even knowing why, isn't size. It's energy. It's presence. It's the invisible current she feels when she's near you. The calm, steady power that says, without words, this man knows who he is. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." For most men, this hidden fear, this quiet obsession with size, has been directing their lives in secret. It shapes the way they speak, the way they move, the way they show up. They don't see it, but it's there. A subtle tension that whispers, "You're not enough." And every time they chase validation through attention, through performance, through pretending, they feed that whisper. They make it stronger. But here's the turning point. The moment you stop chasing proof, you become proof. The moment you stop asking if you're enough, you start being enough. Because confidence isn't something you show, it's something you feel. When it's real, it's quiet. It doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to convince anyone. It just is. So today, we're going to drag that fear into the light. We're going to expose the truth about what women actually crave. And it has nothing to do with inches. When you understand this, something inside you shifts forever. Your confidence stops being a mask. It becomes part of who you are. It comes from the inside, steady, calm, unshakable. So if you're ready to drop the comparison game for good, if you're ready to understand what true masculine power feels like, then stay with me until the end. Because this truth will divide your life into before and after. But first, prove you're not here by accident. Hit like right now, as a sign that you're ready to hear what no one else has the courage to say. The real question every man who asks himself, "Am I big enough?" isn't really asking about his body. He's asking something much deeper. Am I enough as a man? It's not about inches. It's about identity. It's about the fear of not measuring up, not in her eyes, but in your own. That fear doesn't live in your body. It lives in your mind. It's not physical. It's psychological. It's that quiet voice that whispers when you look in the mirror. You're not strong enough. You're not confident enough. You're not enough. You don't say it out loud, but it shapes how you move. It shows up in your tone, your posture, your hesitation. It's in the way your eyes drop too quickly, in the way you over-explain, in the way you laugh when you don't mean to. And that voice, women feel it instantly. They don't need you to confess it. They don't even need proof. They sense it in the smallest cracks of your energy. Because energy never lies. You can try to hide insecurity behind humor. You can mask it with achievements, with status, with style. But no matter how good the disguise, your energy always tells the truth. A woman's intuition is ancient. It's older than logic. It's the silent radar that's been protecting her species for thousands of years. She doesn't listen to what you say. She listens to what you believe. And when your energy whispers, "I'm not enough," her body hears it as distance, not desire. But here's the miracle. The moment you stop searching for proof, you become proof. When you stop asking, "Am I enough?" you start showing that you are. When you no longer chase validation, you radiate certainty. When you stop trying to convince her, you start convincing her without saying a word. Because confidence isn't volume. It's not about being louder than your fear. Confidence is silence. It's the quiet knowing that says, "I don't need to be chosen, I choose myself." That's the energy every woman feels before you even touch her. It's calm, it's steady, it's grounded. It doesn't need to rush. It doesn't need to prove. And that quiet, unshakable energy is the real size she feels. It's not something you show off. It's something she senses deep inside her nervous system. Its presence, its power. It's the invisible magnetism of a man who no longer doubts his own worth, because he finally understands. He always had it. What she actually feels. A woman doesn't fall for muscles. She doesn't fall for height, cars, or numbers on a ruler. She falls for how she feels when she's around you. It's not what she sees that pulls her in, it's what she feels. She feels safe when your energy is calm. She feels desired when your attention doesn't wander. She feels seen when you're really there, not acting, not performing, not pretending. That's what most men never understand. They think attraction is something they can build with clever lines or practiced moves. But attraction isn't a show. It's not performance, it's perception. It's the silent conversation between her body and your energy. Her nervous system doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your state. When your thoughts are anxious, your touch becomes tense. When your mind is full of doubt, your tone changes. You can say all the right things, but if your energy feels shaky, she feels it and her body closes. But when you're grounded, when your thoughts are steady, your breathing calm, your eyes focused on her, your energy does the talking. And it tells her everything she needs to know. Long before your words reach her ears, her body has already decided. I feel safe with him. That's the secret. She doesn't crave size. She craves a feeling, the feeling of being around a man who doesn't need to prove himself. A man who isn't trying to impress her, because he already knows who he is. A man who doesn't chase validation, because he carries his own. Carl Jung called this the union of the masculine and feminine, the meeting of logic and emotion, strength and softness, power and presence. When a man connects to his inner feminine, his anima, he becomes whole. He stops fighting himself. And when he stops fighting himself, he can finally stop fighting her. That's when everything changes. That's when connection becomes electric. That's when every glance, every breath, every movement feels alive. Because it's no longer about performing. It's about being. You're no longer two people trying to impress each other. You're two souls recognizing each other. And in that moment, she doesn't care about numbers, or size, or comparison. All she feels is this: I'm safe. I'm desired. I'm seen. That's the feeling every woman is truly chasing. Not perfection. Not performance. Just the peace of being with a man who is sure of himself. Calm, grounded, and fully present. And that kind of man doesn't need to chase attraction. He becomes it. The three real measures of a man. When it comes to what truly attracts a woman, the world has lied to men for generations. You were taught to measure yourself with rulers, with bank accounts, with status symbols. You were told that value comes from what you have, not who you are. But the truth is the real measures of a man can't be seen. They're felt. They live in your energy, your awareness, your ability to be fully here. Because a woman doesn't fall in love with your reflection. She falls in love with your presence. These are the three real measures of a man. 1. Confidence, the quiet power. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's not about being louder than everyone else in the room. It doesn't boast, it doesn't beg, and it doesn't need to prove a thing. True confidence is quiet. It's that stillness inside you that says, I know who I am. It's not about walking in and trying to dominate. It's about walking in and shifting the energy without a word. Because calm men don't demand respect, they command it. When your energy is steady, she feels it. Her body relaxes. Her guard drops. She doesn't have to act or impress, she can just be. That's the power of confidence. It's magnetic. It's not a performance. It's truth made visible. It's what happens when a man stops chasing validation, because he already knows he's enough. That's why women trust confident men. Not because they're perfect, but because they're peaceful. 2. Attention, the art of listening without words. Most men hear words. Few men actually listen. A woman's body speaks long before her mouth does. Every breath, every pause, every movement, it all says something. Her tone, her eyes, the way she shifts her shoulders, they're all part of her language. But most men are too lost in their own noise to notice. They're too busy performing. Too busy asking themselves, am I doing this right? The man who truly listens with his eyes, his hands, his awareness, is the man she never forgets. Because attention is love made visible. It tells her, you matter, I'm here. Carl Jung said that to truly connect with another soul, you must first silence your ego. That's what attention really is, the silence of self, so you can hear her truth. When you stop thinking about how you appear, and start feeling what she's showing you, you don't just touch her body, you touch her soul. And when she feels seen, she opens in ways no words can unlock. 3. Presents, the rarest luxury in the modern world. Put the phone down. Stop thinking about what comes next. Forget the outcome. Be here. Presence is power, the kind that can't be faked or forced. Because in a world of distraction, focus is rare. And whatever is rare becomes valuable. When a man is truly present, time slows down. His words carry more weight. His touch feels more deliberate. His eyes tell her, you're the only person in this moment. That's when she lets go. That's when trust begins to form. That's when connection turns into chemistry. Presence isn't about being in the room. It's about being in the moment. Mind, body, and soul aligned in one place. Because when she looks into your eyes and sees that you're not somewhere else, you've already won. In a world full of noise, endless scrolling, and half-hearted attention, presence is the rarest luxury and the highest form of attraction. When you master these three, confidence, attention, and presence, you stop trying to impress women. You start impacting them. Because she won't remember your words. She won't remember your clothes. She'll remember what she felt in your presence. And that feeling, that calm, certain, grounded energy, is the true measure of a man. The real size secret. Here's the truth no one ever tells you. The perfect size isn't something you can see. It's something she feels. It's not measured in inches. It's measured in connection. It's not about how much you have. It's about how deeply she can feel you. It's the size of your confidence, the depth of your patience, and the strength of your understanding. That's the real dimension that matters. That's what she remembers when you're gone. Because a woman's body doesn't just respond to touch. It responds to emotion. It listens to energy. It reacts to presence. Yes, biology plays a role. But even nature bows to psychology. Because the mind controls the body, not the other way around. A woman's body opens to energy, not anatomy. When she feels safe, her breath softens. When she feels seen, her heart opens. When she feels judged, she closes not out of pride, but out of protection. You can't force that door open. You can't demand her trust. You can only create the safety that allows her to open it herself. That's why the greatest power a man can ever have is not dominance. It's emotional intelligence. It's awareness. The awareness to sense, to adjust, to feel what she needs in the moment. It's the ability to stay tuned in, instead of trapped in your ego. Because when your mind is calm, your energy becomes magnetic. And when your energy is magnetic, her body and soul follow it naturally. No force, no proving, no pretending, just presence. So stop comparing yourself to other men. Stop chasing numbers that mean nothing. Because comparison kills confidence. And confidence is the very thing she's drawn to. You are not in competition with other men. You are in competition with your old self. The version of you that doubted, overthought, and hesitated. Grow in awareness, not anxiety. Grow in wisdom, not worry. Grow in presence, not performance. Because no man ever lost a woman for being small. He lost her because he thought small. He let his fear shrink his energy. He let his insecurity silence his strength. He let his doubt dim the light in his eyes. But the man who understands this truth, the man who knows that real size lives in confidence, in patience, in emotional control, becomes unforgettable. He's the man a woman remembers long after the night is over. Not because of what he showed, but because of what she felt. Because she doesn't fall in love with the surface. She falls in love with the safety of your presence. The peace in your energy. The certainty in your silence. And when she feels that, when she feels your calm, grounded strength, in her world, you are already the perfect size. Remember this truth, the kind that doesn't scream to be heard, but settles quietly in your bones. Confidence is greater than inches. Connexion est supérieure à technique. Presence is greater than performance. Because a man's worth was never meant to be measured by centimeters, by muscle, or by money. It's measured by the peace he brings into a room, the power he carries without aggression, and the pleasure not just physical, but emotional, that he awakens in a woman's heart. The strongest man isn't the one who speaks the loudest. He's the one whose calm can silence chaos. The one whose energy says, "You're safe here." That's the man every woman remembers, and the man every man quietly wants to become. So ask yourself, am I building size in my ego or in my soul? Am I chasing validation or mastering presence? Because one leads to noise, and the other leads to peace. If you've watched this far, that already says something about you. You're not like most men. You've stopped chasing illusions. You're searching for truth, for depth, for mastery. And that's what makes you different. That's what makes you dangerous, not in violence, but in stillness. Because when a man is calm, focused, and aware, he becomes unstoppable. Now, take a slow breath. Let this truth sink in, and drop this affirmation below. I am enough. I am calm. I am present. Then tell me, what's one truth about confidence you wish your younger self had known? Let's build something together. A circle of men who lead not with ego, but with energy. Not with noise, but with presence. Because real power was never about showing off. It's about showing up.